Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla. So we got some confirmation that Tesla will build the affordable next generation vehicle in the Berlin factory as well. So I guess we know what the new expansion is for at the Berlin factory. But that makes the Berlin factory an even bigger chess move from Tesla than what I first thought. This will make Tesla the biggest car brand in Europe by a long shot, just with this single factory, producing maybe only 2 models. I don't think the old guys really get what is about to hit them. While the others are slowing down, Tesla shows us they are not, but taking another approach than first thought. And it will be even a bigger shock to the European auto industry than we first thought. And yes, the numbers shows us that Tesla will easily be able to make a $25,000 car with a 20% margins, even though we are hearing skeptics out there saying they don't believe that anymore. But let me show you the numbers and how big of a chess move this is from Tesla, and let's dive right in. So on the 11th of October 2021, I made a video about Tesla's Berlin factory after I have visited the factory, as I realized that this factory was such a strategic move from Tesla, as it would be able to, all on its own, to make Tesla the biggest car brand in Europe, period. As we knew, it would produce 2 million when fully built out with all its 4 phases and fully ramped up. Even though the mainstream media and many of the competition didn't really seem to get this, as they always talk about the Berlin factory as it would only be able to produce 500,000 units, as Tesla has said and got permission for. But that was just the phase 1. Remember, Tesla has already shown us that they are now got the Berlin factory up to a capacity of 375,000 units, and that is all just the phase 1. But one thing I didn't know back in October 2021 was Tesla's new unbox production method. We knew that Tesla would come with a $25,000 car at some point, but we didn't know about the new production method that Tesla was cooking up behind the scenes. But that has kind of changed things and made my video about the Berlin factory and the 2 million units in production capacity a little underestimating of Tesla's production capacity. Because we know that Tesla's next generation vehicle will be a much more efficient car to produce. This car is the first car in history that has been designed and engineered with automation and production in mind, in a whole new production method. So this will not be a very exciting product like the Cybertruck or Roadster. It will be a normal little compact hatchback, but of course with Tesla software and technology inside. It will probably be the best small compact on the market, but nothing the mainstream media will get overly excited about, because it will not be the quickest around the racetrack or have the longest range or be bulletproof or can do crab walk. But this car will take off less than 50% of the footprint of building the Model 3 or Model Y, and the cost will be reduced by half. So when we saw Tesla starting to clear trees for the expansion of the factory, I guessed that they would probably be building the next-gen compact car here, as it would make no sense to build the Model 3, as the Shanghai factory should be able to keep up with that, and the Model S and X would of course never be built here, so it had to be the next-gen vehicle, right? Also because the compact car would be a very big hit here in Europe, as we have a lot of small compact cars here, like the Volkswagen Polo or the Golf or the Peugeot 208 or the Citroën 3 or the Seat Leon, Toyota Yaris, and many others. Every brand has at least one little compact hatchback, and most have a couple of compact options. And this is kind of the EV many people in Europe have been screaming about. A truly affordable EV, but without going on compromise on range and charging and safety, and in general just getting a piece of crap, because we do have affordable EVs in Europe, but they are not very good EVs like the Dacia Spring. But Tesla will come with this missing product that so many people are waiting for. A good EV for $25,000. And then we look at the construction plans that also suddenly changed from the original plans of the 4 equally sized phases to the next phase being twice the size of the first one, and the first one will be able to produce a 500,000 Model Ys, and now Tesla will build the phase that is twice the size but produce a vehicle that only needs half the production footprint. So that should mean that this phase is not only producing 1 million vehicles, as it's twice the size, but it should be able to get to 2 million next generation vehicle produced in this factory in the heart of Europe. If we look at the top 50 list of best-selling cars in Europe, we find a sea of small compact cars. We're talking about millions in the addressable market. So the Tesla Berlin factory will not be a 2 million unit car factory. It will be at least 2.5 million car plant, if not even more. And as I mentioned in my video 2 years ago, this is really a game, set and match move from Tesla. This will set Tesla up to become the biggest automotive brand in Europe. Period. The Volkswagen brand at its peak sold about 1.8 to 2 million vehicles in Europe. But remember, the automakers have been shrinking ever since in 2019. In Europe, the auto industry saw a drop of almost 30% from 2019 numbers to 2022 numbers. And last year, the biggest brand in Europe was still Volkswagen, but only with almost 1.2 million units sold. So less than half of what I expect the Berlin factory to be able to produce. The whole Stellantis group sold 2 million units last year, less than what I expect Tesla's single factory in Berlin to be able to do. Even the entire Volkswagen group sold just short of 2.8 million, a number that is not completely out of the question for the Berlin factory to get to by the end of this decade, with the last phase being built after the one they are planning on right now. So all of this from one factory. Remember, someone like Audi that produce about 1.6 million units a year globally, but that is from 19 different factories in 12 different countries. Tesla will do 1 million more than that from just one single factory. Talk about being cost competitive here. Someone like Audi doesn't stand a chance against the monster Tesla is awakening in Berlin. And remember, the others will not have anything this good for this price. So this will be the same story all over again as we have seen with the Model Y, taking the world by storm, while the ID.4 and the Ford Mach-E is struggling. In September, we do see the ID.4 in Europe has actually fallen quite a bit down the best-selling list of EVs, while the Model Y still sits as the undisputed champ at the top. So we do see the old guys struggling because they are uncompetitive in specs and features and at an uncompetitive price compared to the Model Y. The value for money with the Tesla is just insane. And this will be the same with a $25,000 compact car. And when we hit that $25,000 or 25,000 euro compact electric vehicle combined with the cost of ownership, people in Europe would have to be financially insane to buy a crappy little Toyota Yaris or any other small compact ICE car at that point. Remember, for someone like me that lives in Denmark and drives about 40,000 kilometers or 25,000 miles a year, I save about $4,000 a year on service, maintenance and gas alone on the Model 3 compared to my old Mazda 3. So it might be a bit lower with the compact car that are more affordable to run, but still just saving $2,000 a year for 5 years. That is still $10,000 you have to calculate in, making the $25,000 Tesla equivalent to buy a $15,000 ICE car. That is getting very close to be the cheapest you can even buy a new car for in my country. So for the people that thinks there will not be a market for that many compact cars from Tesla, well, there are millions and millions of compact cars sold every year in Europe, but no one really makes a compelling EV for $25,000. Remember, the BYD Dolphin is in my country, but it is a 31,000 euros, and the MG4 is a 37,000 euros car. So even though Tesla's compact car will probably be more like these two electric vehicles, but with better software, safety, charging, and so on, but it will also be about 6,000 to 12,000 euros cheaper. This will kill ICE cars completely off in Europe and take over a huge market share of the compact market, as it makes no sense to buy an equivalent ICE car at that point. I think there will be plenty of room for this next-gen vehicle in Europe. But then there is, of course, the people that don't think that Tesla will be able to make an EV for that kind of price. But that is already pretty much a done deal. Sandy Monroe, who rips cars apart for a living and is the car expert of car expert, and he estimated that the Model 3 long range cost Tesla $33,613 to build. And remember, that was the long range, not the cheapest version, and that was one from 2018. So we do know that Tesla has cut the cost of that car by 30% since they got to volume production of 5,000 units a week in 2018. But we also have had a lot of inflation, of course, since then, so $33,000 in late 2018 would be equivalent to about $40,000 in today's money. So that is, of course, a big difference as well. But even if the cost of goods for a Tesla Model 3 today rose to $40,000, but Tesla cutting 30% of the cost over the same period means that it will probably cost Tesla something like $28,000 to produce a Model 3, even with inflation taken into account. But let's just stick with Sandy Monroe's numbers with $33,000, as this is kind of in the middle of the $40,000 inflation numbers and the 30% reduction numbers. And Sandy has done the actual teardown and knows very accurate what the actual price of these cars are to build. And now Tesla says that they can cut the cost in half. So $33,000 divided by 2, that's $16,500 to produce the next-gen $25,000 compact car. So how people can think it's impossible for Tesla to build a $25,000 car anymore with the high interest rate and everything going on seems kind of ridiculous, as even the inflation taken into account, Tesla would be able to build the next generation car for $16,500. But remember, to earn 20% margin when the car is fully ramped up to the volume of 5,000 units a week, it would still be possible even if the cost for Tesla to build the car rose to $20,000 instead of the $16,500. So even if the cost to produce the car went up by 20% because of even more inflation or cost of goods rising, Tesla will still be able to make a $25,000 car with 20% margin. And while all the other automakers have been rising the prices of their affordable ICE cars, Tesla has been working on this in the background. The old guys has really only been helping Tesla here, making their affordable ICE cars more expensive. Like the Peugeot 208 that last year was the best-selling car in Europe. It cost 21,600 euros today. No one with just a fraction of a brain would ever buy that car when the next generation Tesla comes out for only 20,000 euros. So the old guys really knows how to lay them up for Tesla for them to hit it out of the park. So I can only see this is still very possible for Tesla to do, and Elon just confirming the 25,000 euro next generation car will be built in Berlin only confirms the price once again. Tesla's cost advantage is so underestimated. When we look at operating expensive SG&A, which are the cost of doing business, that includes the rent, utilities, marketing, advertising, sales, accounting, management, and administrative salaries. Per Tesla's calculation, they are about 60 to 70% lower at a per car basis than traditional automakers as it is today. And then Tesla will start making a car that cost them half to produce. This is gonna send Tesla into the stratosphere compared to the competition that is already 60 to 70% behind Tesla in cost of SG&A per car today. But Tesla is about to leapfrog this lead by cutting the cost in half. So I hear some people saying they don't believe Tesla can make the $25,000 car anymore because Tesla is cutting prices. But the price cut have nothing to do with Tesla's ability to make cars more cost effective. They are just lowering the prices in a very high interest rate market to make sure their addressable market stay the same and don't shrink as fewer people can afford to buy cars at these prices because it is getting too expensive to loan the money to buy the car. So it all comes down to the cost per month basis, and as I showed before, that is basically the same today as it was in 2019. So Tesla is only making sure they can continue to ramp up as fast as they can and have the market to do so even in this high interest rate economy we are in right now. But the cost of producing the car is not going up, and the price cut is something Tesla can do because of all the cost reduction they have done over the last couple of years. And the best part of Tesla's cost reduction here, it is not on the cost of performance. As they have shown us, the next generation powertrain will use 75% less materials, but there will be no sacrifice in performance and efficiency. Like I said, the next gen vehicle will not be a crappy car. And when it comes to scalability, this will be one of a kind in the industry. Firstly, the motor will not be using any rare earth metals, so they will not be held back by that. And the powertrain will be able to use any kind of battery, so it doesn't matter if they want to use their own 4680 cells at some point, or Panasonic's 2170, or their 18650 cells, or CATL's LFP batteries, or BYD Blade batteries, or a sodium battery. If that suddenly makes a breakthrough in production, Tesla will happily become the biggest customer to CATL or BYD or whoever comes with this first in volume. So Tesla will not be limited by batteries for scaling up the next gen car, as it can use any battery that is available. And the next gen drive unit will only cost Tesla about $1,000 to produce. No one else will be able to keep up with this. The old guys are still losing money, so they are not even able to keep up with Tesla's insane cost efficiency of today, and Tesla will cut that in half. Ridiculous. And Walter Isaacson's book confirmed the next gen pilot project is already being tooled in Austin. As we know from the book, Elon wanted the pilot project line to be close to the engineers so they could help out with getting the production off the ground and be there if they had to make changes on the fly. So they are already working on the pilot project line in Austin and will be producing the first version of the next gen vehicle there. And when Tesla is finished with the construction of the expansion of the Berlin factory, it will start producing the next generation compact car for the European market. So the next gen will not be delayed, as many have said and speculated about, because of the comments from Elon at the earnings call that Tesla is waiting to see where the market goes before they start construction of the Mexico factory. But that factory will not be the first to build the next generation vehicle after all. That will be Texas and Berlin and Shanghai, with Giga Mexico being the next massive expansion of production. And just remember, when people are skeptic about Tesla's ability to ramp up this car, they also thought the Model Y was vaporware and an ugly car, and who was ever going to buy that, and it will fall flat on its face in Europe with all the competition here. But here we are, and the Model Y in 2021 sat at number 130 in the list of best-selling cars in Europe. Then 1 year later, in 2022, it was number 13, and now in 2023 is number 1. Imagine what a car that is designed and engineered to be able to scale up like nothing that has ever been designed in the auto industry before. That will be much faster than the Model Y, which became the best-selling car in the world within only like 3 full years of production. And the next gen will cost half to produce and have a much bigger addressable market as well. This car will take over the world and make Tesla into the biggest automaker on the planet. And this single factory in Germany will make Tesla the biggest automotive brand in Europe, maybe even auto group. What a chess move from Tesla. I really don't think the auto industry truly understand what is about to hit them over the next couple of years. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.